to meet your ringmaster. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put those hands together. Stomp your feet. Help me make some noise for Jonathan the Iverson.
Gee, since I am new to Cage the Elephant and I don't know anything about this album, I'm hoping you can help me with something. Can you give me a few cogent thoughts about their role in music history? Thank you. Hi, everyone. We were supposed to do Donker Mag by Diantword.
Die Antwoord.
But my copy of the album didn't get here in time. So we had to move Cage the Elephant up to this week. Spiffy. Now forgive me if I'm wrong, but am I safe in assuming that you know pretty much nothing about Cage the Elephant? Yep. Splendid. And is it also safe to assume that you don't have any funny stories about elephants ready to go? None. Wonderful. What about cages? Batting cages, bird cages, soul cages? Anything? Nope. Stellar. Care to tell me what you had in mind for an intro this week? Outstanding. All right. Any clues from the album art? Not really. No. Any liner notes? Let's see. Lyrics. What do we got? We got more lyrics. We've got producer credits. We've got songwriter credits. We've got mastering and mixing credits. We've got the names of the dudes in the band, but not the instruments they play. We got some thanks, but I'm not recognizing any of the names in the thanks. They got their website URL and their social media handles. That's it. Well, there's some pretty disturbing artwork on the other side. Yeesh. Oh, there's a one-sided single in here too. Look. Grooves? No grooves. So I guess we're going in cold then. Yeah, I guess so. You ready? Go.
On the other side of town lives a saber-toothed tiger.
Dolly, you've been with me for most of this week as I've been listening to this album. As you've hung out with me in my office, is there anything in particular about Cage the Elephant that you feel is particular? Wait a minute. Dolly, come back. I need your attention. Dolly? Dolly? Hey. Psst, psst. Do you know anything? Dolly! You know what's funny? 2 or 3 songs into this album, and I was prepared to kind of write the whole thing off as one of those newfangled pop punk kind of deals. One of those albums where the melodies are all bright and cheerful, the songs are all in major keys, but because they play them fast and loud on guitars, we're supposed to think of them as somehow edgy and dangerous. Worked for the Strokes, didn't it? But I started noticing these moments of genuine musical subversion, not just singing "You Suck" and sing-songy major scales like most pop-punk things I've listened to recently. Oh, I'm really bored and you're really dumb and this is really stupid and you really suck. But some actual musical passages that made me screw up my face and say, whoa! First time it happened was in the song Indie Kids. Starts off with a kind of surf rock vibe. Then about halfway through, the tempo drops precipitously, and the bass starts playing some truly ominous notes. 2024 starts off with an accelerando that works pretty well until it resolves into a very Green Day sounding verse. Then it's more of the "I'm really bored and you're really dumb." The chorus of "Sell Yourself" does a very Rage Against the Machine halftime kind of a thing, adding a really challenging top harmony to the last couple of times through. Hell yeah. But these moments are fleeting. The vast majority of this album is all very Pixies, Strokes, Green Day, safe, pop punk kind of filler. That is, until we get to track 10, Saber-Tooth Tiger. No safety, major chord, do-re-mi, pseudo-punk there. Weird chords, aggressive groove, off-kilter top harmony, funny little Bigsby-style rockabilly instrumental break, halftime breakdown at the end. That's more like it. And the last song, Carry Me In, it's a noisy one, in a good way. It starts off very surf punk, almost like amino acids level of surf punk. And then about halfway in, there's a moment that, well, check this out. Here are the chords that close off the bridge section. And here are the chords from the intro to Dolly's Car from Trout Mask Replica by Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band. So yes, Cage the Elephant, that's my jam. Almost. That's almost my jam. That's approaching my jam. That's the closest thing to my jam that has transpired thus far. But that's also the end of the album. So my first impression? 5 minutes of awesome in a 45-minute bag. Could be worse.
On the other side of town lives a saber-toothed tiger.
Foot, since you've been with us, I've noticed that you in particular have a good eye when it comes to artistic expression. So my question for you is, how do you manage expectations? How do you go into a piece with mind open so that you are not bringing your own filters into the enjoyment of a piece? Thank you. If there's a single word that has followed me week after week through this whole series, that word is context.
It's the context that makes them good or bad. The context that makes them good or bad.
The context of these albums matters so much. That context matters so much to how I get involved with the music in the first place. So let me see if I can explain. So for example, let's say you want to watch a feel-good movie about what it means to be friends or what it means to be family. Well, if you start off with any Pixar movie, you know that's what you're going to get.
When she loved me.
By the time you get to Toy Story 4, you kind of know what you're going to get going in. You know it's going to make you sad. You know you're going to be uplifted and it's going to be cute. No surprises there. But let's say, for example, instead, your dumb roommate puts on a Jet Li action film. I mean, here you all are queued up to think about uplifting and sadness and family and friends and closeness. And he puts on this action movie called Unleashed. There's no way they're going to get you that warm, uplifting sadness from a movie about a guy trained to beat people up, right? Well, when you go in thinking you're just going to get fights and car chases, but instead you develop deep feelings for the family Danny makes with Morgan Freeman and Carrie Condon.
I think it's time to put the last thing away. Don't you?
Well, it hits harder, right? You weren't expecting it. So for that reason, when I go to recommend movies, I tend to recommend Unleashed much more than I recommend Toy Story 4. Is Toy Story 4 better at telling that kind of story? Absolutely. But it's the context.
Context! Context!
That's why I recommend Unleashed. Another example. A couple of weeks ago, when I said that Mikio Fujioka's solo on the first Baby Metal album was now in my top 10 of all time, I stand by that. But that doesn't mean I don't hear amazing things from Guthrie Govan or Paul Gilbert or Steve Vai. I mean, look, when you put on The Aristocrats or Spaceship One or Flexable. And something amazing happens, well, that's what you signed up for. You knew going in there would be something amazing. But when you put on an album with 3 little girls singing heavy metal and something amazing happens, I don't know about you, but it hits me harder. It's like finding Kobe beef in your Happy Meal. And that, more or less, is what's happening for me in Thank You, Happy Birthday. There's so much of this album that is just exactly what you'd expect from a pop punk album. So much that's just the same old, this is really stupid and you really suck. So when they actually take a chance and this album does something musically risky, I hear it. It hits me. Most of this album I'll probably never listen to again, honestly. But Saber-Tooth Tiger? That's going on a couple playlists right now. Same with Carry Me In. Oh yeah, and it turns out that these guys are from Kentucky. So that's pretty cool too.
His mouth is full of sand. He's just dying to meet you. His mouth is full of sand, and he's just dying to meet you. On the other side of town lives a saber-toothed tiger.